Warab state the Jogo of the right make it bad job and
Today mark an official opening of the conference between Ngok and Twic communities. The participants from the two communities have arrived here and they are expected to explore different ways of reaching peaceful coexistence, restoring peace and order in the Recife region. The participants include the chiefs, the area intellectuals, the faith-based organizations, government officials and other observers from neighboring communities. The conference that will run from 3rd to 6th of April 2023 is being attended by 90 participants and 12 government officials from Warab State, Western Bahr el Ghazal State, Abyei Special Administrative Area, state and national lawmakers. The participants include 40 people drawn from Ngok, 40 from Twic, and 10 other observers from Lakes, Unity, Western Bahr el Ghazal, Ruweng, Northern Bahr el Ghazal and other natural communities within Warab State. The conference is being organized and supported by the International Organization for Migration, UNDP, UNIMIS, UNISPA, Food and Agriculture Organization and Concordis Organization to enable two sisterly communities to discuss and explore possibilities of ending dispute over an aid.
I want to assure you that Western Bahr el Ghazal State will keep advocating and support all the peace initiatives that you're holding. As we understand, this is the second dialogue to be held in WOW between the two communities. And the first one was last year. Honestly, I want to thank you all for choosing WOW, because WOW is your home. WOW is the mother of Greater Bahr el Ghazal, including Abyei. We were all one. Whatever happened was administrative divisions, but WOW is our mother, and we are all here WOW, as we always say. We are brothers and sisters. There is intermarriage between all of us. We are not different. And I always stand in front of you and I say that I am between Warab and Western Bahr el Ghazal.
The forum would enable participants to share local peace building stories, evaluate Freebu's Twic Ngok peace initiatives, identifying gaps, successes, and available opportunities in restoring peace and tranquility in the region.
The most common conflicts drivers in our communities are matters that are interrelated to land disputes, socio-economic factors, law enforcement, and sustainable development. The communal land claims and constitutional demands for authentic borders has been a challenging factor to both the national and state governments, in which the government of South Sudan has constituted Technical Boundary Committee and Independent Boundary Committee to address land dispute in the Republic of South Sudan. However, my government in Warab State has partially implemented presidential directives on essential of violence, granting accessibility to movement of goods and people.
The participants are also expected to address the challenge of humanitarian aid obstruction, free and safe movement of people, and develop sustained long-term programs for social cohesion, reconciliation and conflict resolution, strengthening safety and security.
Our communities have suffered a lot for over a year of this ensuing violence and senseless war between nephew and uncle, niece and aunt, a war in which nothing is achieved but total destruction of lives and property.
In this forum, the participants would be able to make a joint peace-building roadmap that shall clearly outline key responsibilities, timeline, accountabilities, and contribution from peace partners, communities, and governments. The quest for restoring peace and order between Ngok and Twic communities began here in WOW. The participants drawn from the two conflicting communities and other observers arrived here on Monday to take part in a 4-day intercommunal peace conference attended by the leaders from Warab State, Western Bahr el Ghazal State, and Abyei Special Administrative Area. The participants in the first day of the dialogue evaluated and shared local peace building stories and available opportunities to supplement quests for restoring law and order in the Recife region. The conference was officiated by the host governor of Western Bahr el Ghazal State, Sarah Kleto Asen Real, who called on the two communities of Ngok and Twic to denounce violence and focus on peace building.
Let us put our differences behind and let us focus in how we want our country, our states, our communities to move forward. Let us open our minds to listen to one another and come out with something.
The second and third day of the conference focused on the implementation of the presidential directives on the two communities to observe cessation of hostilities, opening of roads, creation of buffer zone, and immediate disengagement of other communities alleged to have taken part in the conflict.
We also understand a lot of connecting factors like intermarriage, naming, relationship between these two communities. You have said the resolution from a country because you have said like a cessation of hostility.
Ngok and Twic after kini aja ke jol miditik ayah jol diet.
Ngok and Twic, I don't consider them as brothers, but I consider them as twins. And now they are fighting.
The governor of Warab State, Maniam Bol Malek, asked the participants to deliberate freely on critical issues affecting them and reach amicable solutions.
This peace conference is very important, and I sincerely urge and appeal to the participants in this intercommunal peace conference that enough is enough. Hence, let's deliberate in the spirit of peace and humanity to ensure that the birds of peace shall proudly sing journey mercies to our IDPs returning back to their homes.
The Chief Administrator of Abyei Special Administrative Area, Dr. Shol Deng Alak, urged Ngok and Twic communities to discuss issues with open hearts, bearing in mind the long sexual ties and peaceful relations that exist in the past.
Let us discuss issues of peace with open hearts, having in mind that we are relatives. It is our duty as Governor of Warab State and Chief Administrator of Abyei Special Administrative Area to stand behind you in supporting peace and resolution of this conflict, not to complicate it.
The authorities said the violence which erupted on 10 February 2022 over the ownership of a net has claimed many lives, displaced a known number of people, and destruction of property.
Warab State the Jogo Mdara make it back job and
Twic and Ngok Intercommunal Peace Conference has concluded in Wau, Western Bahr el Ghazal State, with participants agreeing to stop hostilities and promising to disseminate messages of peaceful coexistence and reconciliation. The governor of Warab State, Maniam Bol Malek, called on the two sides to engage in peace building.
An atmosphere of the two communities like this today to discuss their problem and resolve amicably. And if not, they can go to court if it is about learning the truth. They can seek all the ways, the possible ways of solving the land dispute among themselves.
The governor of Western Bahr el Ghazal State, Sarah Kleto Hassan, urged Twic and Ngok communities to embrace peace to pave way for development.
Salam bitana ikun gowe. Wintu tukono al guide لأخواننا اللي هناك في البلد القاعدين في محل الحرب ساسين إنه ناس كده ناس يختاروا السلام، ناس يختاروا السلام، ناس يختاروا الاستقرار. في البوينتس الختوم الأربع بوينتس الختوم أفتكر ناس في وفاق كلها the enemies of peace تجار الحرب. في ناس haters بخشوا في النص لو شايفين ناس ماشيين كويس هم عايزين يخشوا ويخربوا وعد بتاع الناس. فإحنا ما نقبل للناس زي ده يجي في بيناتكم ولا في بيناتنا كلنا.
On his part, the Chief Administrator of Abyei Special Administrative Area, Dr. Sholdeng Alak, urged the participants to translate the outcome of the meeting into action for peace to prevail in the region.
Let us keep the spirit of what we have accepted. The spirit is that there is a cessation of hostilities, though we have not signed. But we did say that we accept it. We also say that we are opening the road and giving chance for movement of people and goods. Let us say that we have accepted also, though we have not signed it. We have already given also permission, a promise that we are going to take care of the allies who are behind us in this conflict between really, I would always want to repeat it, really sisterly communities, people who are really one.
Warab state the jogo dum daraj make it back jaben warab abindeng igual.
In his separate news, Governor Maniambol Malek has described the security situation of his state as relatively peaceful and stable. He made the statement upon arrival at Juba International Airport on Friday.
The purpose of my visit is to update His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Sudan about Warab State's situation or general situation. In Warab, as you are following up through the social media and probably through your friends and phones and all this, situation in general is calm. We have been trying with the government of Warab States, with the support from you, all of you, by talking to your people so that we have peace in our communities. So I want to thank you. It is not my work alone, it is our work. But Warab now is experiencing peace, but communal fights is no longer there, except one of our county, that is Twic, and that is Twic community and Ngok community. And again, for the last 4 days, we have been in the conference, peace conference, that outlined the 4 aspects that we want to implement.
Governor Maniambol was received by the intellectuals of Warab State in Juba, students, SPLM members, women, and local cultural groups. He called on the people of Warab State to unite and promote peace and harmony.
The purpose of my visit is to come and visit the capital city and update His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Sudan about Warab State's situation or general situation. In Warab, as you are following up through the social media and probably through your friends and phones and all this, situation in general is calm. We have been trying with the government of Warab States, with the support from you, all of you, by talking to your people so that we have peace in our communities. So I want to thank you. It is not my work alone, it is our work. But Warab now is experiencing peace, but communal fights is no longer there, except one of our county, that is Twic, and that is Twic community and Ngok community. And again, for the last 4 days, we have been in the conference, peace conference, that outlined the 4 aspects that we want to implement as per the President directives. One of them was the implementation of the cessation of hostilities, the ceasefire between the 2 communities. And number 2 was to open road access or freedom of movement of the people. And third was also to ask the allies, those who came to participate in our war, like people from our neighboring state, of Unity State, they came and divided themselves among our communities. Some joined Ngok and some joined Twic to escalate the war. We have asked them to go back to their states and leave us alone to solve our problems. And number 4 was to create a buffer zone where people are fighting, where people do meet, the youth, the armed youth. We have to create a buffer zone and declare no armed civilian zone, so that when we see anybody with arm and is not authorized person, that person will be disarmed. The purpose of this is to reduce the tension and the death, because there is no one left in Twic who have not died since the struggle of this country, and there is no one left in Abyei who have not died since the struggle of this country. So we were asking ourselves that enough is enough. Enough is enough. We are brothers and we are sisters. We are one blood. We are one people. We don't want war. Okay, war comes and war goes. It is up to us to say no to war. So that is what we have been discussing for the last 4 days in Rumbek, in Wau, and everybody agreed that we must stop war. And since we were in Wau, there was no any fight. Maybe you are observing also, there was no any attack, there was no any cattle raiding, and the vehicles start moving, and only that we have not deployed enough forces as per the directive of the President to create a buffer zone. So with this, I have to come and update the President and consult him of how we can implement number 4, that is buffer zone. Number 2, we are also invited with my secretary, our secretary of the state, SPLM secretary, Comrade Walana Nane, known as Wal Mapedit. We are invited officially to come to Juba and join the high-level delegation that is invited to visit China under our Secretary General, Comrade Lam, both. So some of the governors, including myself, and the secretaries of the states of the SPLM party, and some of the chief administrators of the special administrative areas are invited to join our Secretary General to China for few days, and we'll come back. We'll come back, we want to see how China is progressing. And so that when we come back, we can also replicate to our people. We want to ask people of China, how do you make your citizen happy? And if they tell me, I'll come and make you happy. And so that we move. So with this, I thank you very much once again, and God bless all of us.
State the Jugum Daraj make it Bajaben.